Romeo and Juliet, Act 5, Scene 1. Mantua, a street where Romeo is. If I may trust the flattering truth of sleep, my dreams presage some joyful news at hand. My bosom's Lord sits lightly in his throne, and all this day an unaccustomed spirit lifts me above the ground with cheerful thoughts. I dreamt my lady came and found me dead. Strange dream that gives a dead man leave to think, and breathed such life with kisses in my lips that I revived and was an emperor. Ah me! How sweet is love itself possessed, when but love's shadows are so rich in joy. You should have answered that there was foreshadowing in this line. I dreamt my lady came and found me dead, because we know that that's going to happen later on. Enter Balthazar booted. News from Verona. How now, Balthazar? Dost thou not bring me letters from the friar? How doth my lady? Is my father well? How fares my Juliet, that I ask again? For nothing can be ill if she be well. Then she is well, and nothing can be ill. Her body sleeps in Capel's monument, and her immortal part with angels' lives. I saw her laid low in her kindred's vault, and presently took post to tell it you. Oh, pardon me for bringing these ill news, since you did leave it for my office, sir. You should have answered that Balthazar brings news that Juliet is dead. Her body sleeps in Capel's monument. Is it even so? Then I defy you, stars. Thou knowest my lodging. Get me ink and paper, and hire post horses. I will hence tonight. You should have answered that Romeo is gone to see Juliet in the tomb. I do beseech you, sir, have patience. Your looks are pale and wild, and do import some misadventure. Tush, thou art deceived. Leave me, and do the thing I bid thee do. Hast thou no letters to me from the friar? No, my good lord. No matter, get thee gone, and hire those horses. I'll be with thee straight. Exit Balthazar. Well, Juliet, I will lie with thee tonight. Let's see for means. O mischief, thou art swift to enter in the thoughts of desperate men. I do remember an apothecary, and hereabouts he dwells, which late I noted in tattered weeds, with overwhelming brows, culling of simples. Meager were his looks, sharp misery had worn him to the bones. And in his needy shop a tortoise hung, an alligator stuffed, and other skins of ill-shaped fishes, and about his shelves a beggarly account of empty boxes, green earthen pots, bladders and musty seeds, remnants of packed thread and old cakes of roses were thinly scattered to make up a show. Noting this penury, to myself I said, and if a man did need a poison now, whose sell is present death in Mantua, here lives a caitiff wretch would sell it him. Oh, this same thought but forerun my need, and this same needy man must sell it me. As I remember, this should be the house. Being holiday, the beggar's shop is shut. What ho, apothecary? You should have answered that Romeo's trying to buy poison from the apothecary to be with Juliet. Apothecary is a fancy word for a pharmacist in our days. Enter the apothecary.
Good afternoon.
Who calls so loud? Come hither, man. I see that thou art poor. Hold, there is 40 ducats. Let me have a dram of poison, such soon speeding gear as will disperse itself through all the veins, that the life-weary taker may fall dead, and that the trunk may be discharged of breath as violently as hasty powder, fire, doth hurry from the fatal cannon's womb. Such mortal drugs I have, but Mantua's law is death to any he that utters them. You should have answered that death is the penalty for selling poison in Mantua. Art thou so bare and full of wretchedness and fear'st to die? Famine is in thy cheeks, need and oppression starveth in thine eyes, contempt and beggary hangs upon thy back. The world is not thy friend, nor the world's law. The world affords no law to make thee rich. Then be not poor, but break it, and take this. My poverty, but not my will, consents. You should have answered that poverty is a fancy word for being poor. I pay thy poverty and not thy will. Put this in any liquid thing you will and drink it off. And if you had the strength of 20 men, it would dispatch you straight. There is thy gold, worse poison to men's souls, doing more murders in this loathsome world than these poor compounds that thou mayest not sell. I sell thee poison, thou hast sold me none. Farewell, buy food and get thyself in flesh. Come, cordial, and not poison. Go with me to Juliet's grave, for there must I use thee. You should have answered that Romeo is going to use poison at Juliet's grave to be with her. Act 5, Scene 2, we're now at Friar Lawrence's cell. Enter Friar John. Holy Franciscan friar, brother, ho! Enter Friar Lawrence. This should be the voice of Friar John. Welcome from Mantua. What says Romeo? Or if his mind be writ, give me his letter. Going to find a barefoot brother out, one of our order to associate me. Here in this city, visiting the sick and finding him, the searchers of the town, suspecting that we both were in a house where the infectious pestilence did reign, sealed up the doors and would not let us forth, so that my speed to Mantua there was stayed. You should have answered that Friar John couldn't deliver the letter to Romeo because there was an infectious pestilence, the plague, something like the coronavirus. Who bare my letter then to Romeo? I could not send it, here it is again, nor get a messenger to bring it thee, so fearful were they of infection. Unhappy fortune! By my brotherhood the letter was not nice, but full of charge of dear import, and the neglecting it may do much danger. Friar John, go hence, get me an iron crow, and bring it straight into my cell. Brother, I'll go and bring it thee. He exits. Now must I to the monument alone. Within 3 hours will fair Juliet wake. She will beshrew me much that Romeo hath had no notice of these accidents. But I will write again to Mantua, and keep her at my cell till Romeo come. Poor living corpse, closed in a dead man's tomb. You should have answered that Juliet is in the tomb. Poor living corpse, closed in a dead man's tomb.